Hi everybody, welcome to Richard in the Kitchen tonight. Tonight, we're having red lobster in my home. Tell you what, this is easy to do, takes a little bit of time, but we're going to be frying up some mustard fried catfish, some mustard fried butterfly shrimp. We're going to make some homemade cheddar biscuits, just like at Red Lobster, and some hush doggies. Serve it up with some sauce. I'll tell you what, it's real easy to do, so let's get started. What you need to make your cheddar biscuits is about 4 cups of self-rising flour, 3/4 cup of water, just a pinch of salt, and about 1/4 cup of cheddar cheese, grated cheddar cheese. To make your herbs blend sauce, you'll need some onion powder, garlic powder, salt, and 1/4 cup of butter. With your oven preheated at 425, we're going to take our flour. We're going to add the 3/4 cup of cold water. Make sure it's cold water. And the 1/4 cup of grated cheddar cheese. And you just give this a mix. I've already added some salt in there. This mix will make 8 to 10 biscuits. This is the consistency that you're looking for your dough mix. And a tip is make sure that you don't overbeat this, as with most things that you make, like a regular biscuit mix. So you just spoon out spoon-size portions on a baking sheet lined with parchment paper. Like I said, this will yield about 8 to 10 biscuits. Alright guys, looks like I was able to spoon out 12 of these cheddar biscuits. Now we'll put them in the oven, preheated to 425 for about 12 to 15 minutes. Your herb blend, you just want to take what I've mixed up here, the garlic powder, onion powder, a little bit of parsley flakes, and some salt. Spoon it over your 1/4 cup of real butter. Place this in the microwave for about 30-45 seconds. When our biscuits are done, we'll spoon or brush these over the top of our biscuits. After about 16 minutes, your biscuits are golden brown, they're fluffy, and they're done when you stick a toothpick in there and nothing comes out on them. So basically you just take your garlic blend sauce, take a brush, and just brush over each biscuit. Man, that looks great. Smells even better. Okay, after you have all of your biscuits covered with your garlic herb sauce, what we'll do is we'll set this aside, put them in a suitable dish, cover them with foil, and we'll move on to the shrimp, the fish, and the hush puppies. Now it's time to prepare our shrimp. I'm using colossal size shrimp. It's pretty good size shrimp. I've already taken the shells off, and incidentally, keep your shells, put them in a plastic bag, put them in the freezer. You can use those for shrimp stock, for soups and things like that. So that's what I do there. I leave the tails on because I want a little handle to dip them in my sauce once they're done. Now, I'm going to butterfly these shrimp, but before I start that, what I've done is I've thawed the shrimp out by running them under cold water for about 10 minutes. And I've laid them on some paper towels. I want to pat them dry. The drier, the better. Now, as far as butterflying shrimp, you just take a paring knife and cut along the back side all the way down to the tail. And stop there. You don't cut all the way through. You just kind of open it up like that. You may have to kind of tweak it just a little bit to get it to open up. But you'll also see, once you get in there, you see the vein. It's actually not a vein, it's the digestive tract of the shrimp. You just take a toothpick and just pull that out. It'll come out pretty easy, because you don't want to eat that. Some people do. Some people leave it on there. I don't care to eat the digestive tract of my shrimp, actually. So anyway, it comes out there pretty easy. Like that. And you set that aside and you continue that process until you've butterflied all your shrimp and deveined them. You've butterflied and deveined all of your shrimp. go ahead and set up your workstation consisting of, I've got some all-purpose flour here, some Slap Your Mama Creole seasoning, some milk, 1 egg, and some breadcrumbs. And in the milk mixture, milk and egg, I'm just going to squirt a little bit of mustard in there. And give that a good mix. And once you have your mixtures mixed up and ready to go, you just take your shrimp, butterfly shrimp, dip it in that flour, coat it really good. We're not looking to really cake it on there. You're just looking to coat it. Give it a pat, sort of like that. Then dip it in your egg, milk, and mustard mixture. Let the excess drip off. And then dip it in your breadcrumbs. Making sure to coat it really well. And that's what you come out with. Now what we want to do now is once we get all of our shrimp coated, we're going to set them on a wire rack to rest for about 15 minutes. While we do that, let's prepare our catfish. Now as far as my catfish, I'm going to be using farm-raised catfish, and I'll tell you why. I typically don't make it a habit of using farm-raised because of the PCBs in the fish and the way they raise them. But catfish is kind of an exception I make, because how many times have you eaten catfish from the lake and it has this muddy taste to it? And that's probably why a lot of people don't eat catfish. But this farm-raised catfish has a much milder taste. It's kind of sweet, actually. So what I've got here is a little over a half a pound of farm-raised catfish. And instead of trying to fillet this big bubba here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it up to make it fry easier. I'm going to fry it up into 3 pieces like that. Alright, let's move on to our breading for our catfish. And what I've got here is I've got about a half cup cornmeal, half cup of flour, probably several tablespoons of Slap Your Mama seasoning. That's some good stuff right there, guys. You ought to check it out. Anyway, mix all this together. And I've also got some black pepper in there. I may have already mentioned that. Anyway, mix this up really well. And we'll start breading our catfish. Alright. Yellow mustard. If you've never had mustard fried catfish, you ought to give it a try. Same thing goes for my shrimp. I put it in my egg and my milk mixture. Gives it just a great taste. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a glove, because mustard has a tendency to stain. You just kind of put a little mustard on your fish and rub it in. We're not going to be using an egg or a milk bath on these catfish, because I'm going to be using the mustard. The mustard will assist in the breading staying on. Alright, and we flip it over, just kind of use the residual from the other side. You don't need a lot of mustard. You just need, I may need a little bit on that one right there. Just a little bit. Make sure you get the sides so that your breading will stick to your sides as well, to your catfish. Man, I'll tell you what, this is so good if you've never done this. Okay, then basically what you do is you just dip it in your breading. Cornmeal, flour, Slap Your Mama, pepper. Make sure it's coated very, very well on all sides. It gives it a great crust when you fry it up. Anyway, shake off the excess, set it on a wire rack, and then what we're going to do then, we've already breaded our shrimp. I'm going to bread these other 2 pieces of catfish, and we're going to stick this in the refrigerator for about 15 minutes while we heat our oil to 350. Then we'll be ready to fry it up. Alright, let's start on our hush puppies. And incidentally, the reason I put my battered fish and my shrimp in the refrigerator for about 15 minutes, it just seems to help the breading stay on once you put it in your hot oil. I'm going to be using a package hush puppies tonight. I ran out of flour, so I don't have enough flour to do this by hand. So anyway, this is pretty simple to do. You just pour this stuff in, pour 3/4 cup of milk or water in there, and you just give it a beat. And you mix all that up until it's smooth. And like I said, like the biscuits, don't overbeat it, otherwise you won't be able to form your hush puppies. So give me a chance to do this, guys. And we're almost ready to fry up all our victuals. Our oil is at 350. We're going to go ahead and drop our catfish in there. Just kind of set it in there to begin with and let it fall. Try not to overcrowd your skillet. It's going to take 4 to 5 minutes to cook up our catfish. This is a pretty thick cut of catfish, so we may end up going a little extra over on that, guys. Alright, typically when your catfish floats to the top, it's done. Look at that golden color on that. Let that grease drip off there. Set it on a wire rack. Still got a little bit more to go on this one here. Alright guys, our catfish is done. Look at that golden color on that. Set that on a wire rack. Cover it up with foil to keep it warm. And let's start on our shrimp. Alright. Just drop shrimp in there. I'm only going to put 4 in here at a time because I don't want to drop the temperature too much. It only takes a minute, minute and a half for these shrimp to cook. Alright guys, look at that shrimp. Butterfly shrimp. Set it on a wire rack. We'll fry up the few more pieces that I have. Then we'll fry up our hush puppies. Okay guys, for your hush puppies, go ahead and bump your oil up to 375. And you're just going to spoon your hush doggy dough into the hot oil. It doesn't take long for them to cook. Just like that. Alright guys, let's give our hush puppies a chance to cook. Alright guys, our hush doggies, they're done. Let's boil them up, heat up our rolls, and plate this up. Oh, man, look at that. How about that? Who needs to go to Red Lobster when you can do it at home? Guys, we got some catfish, some butterfly shrimp, some hush doggies, some cheddar biscuits, a couple of lemon slices. We'll give a squirt in just a second. We got some cocktail sauce and some ketchup. Let's give this a taste test, guys. Look at this. Man, I don't know what to eat. Let's try the shrimp first. Man, I tell you what, guys, that mustard really makes this dish. Gives the fish and the shrimp, man, a unique taste. It's really good. Cheddar biscuits just like they do at Red Lobster. Problem is, when I go to Red Lobster, I hardly don't ever finish my main meal because I've eaten too many of them biscuits. And the hush doggies. Man, that's really good. You got the time to do this, man, I'll tell you what, it's a feast. I love it. You save a lot of money by doing it home instead of going to Red Lobster or another fishery or something like that. But anyway, it's real good, guys. You ought to try this. And until next time, don't forget, be nice to everybody, and I will see y'all. Bye-bye, y'all.